due to my new obsession of watching WandaVision for unmentioned number of times, I've also gone back and watched the MCU movies where WandaVision has appeared in, and also the only movie that we have with her and her brother, which led me to the reason why you are clicking on this video, is for me to tell you why I think Wanda has been in control of Vision since the age of Ultron. But before I get into that, if you like videos like these and the content that I put out, please like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification. And in case any of this stuff that I say ends up being real and could ruin your life, consider this your chance to exit the video. So for those of you that still want to see how crazy I am, let's get right into it. So how can I prove this? It's really simple for me, and it's in two ways that I can prove this: in Vision's flying and Vision's phasing. Now, wait until the end of the video until I put all my information out and I make my argument before you cast judgment on the theory. Vision should not fly. Why shouldn't he fly? He's made of vibranium, and that regenerative tissue that we see in Age of Ultron that's healing Hawkeye. Nothing about Vision and what he's composed of should cause him to fly. Like that technology that she was using to fix Hawkeye, it was just like tissue. It wasn't, Hawkeye doesn't have that ability to make that patch into a tattoo or form it into transparent or whatever he desires. That was never the function of that machine. Not even the Mind Stone, which is in his head, has that effect on him. Now, you could go on any source material, whether it be the comic book or even the movies. There is nothing about the Mind Stone that should cause like flight in any way. There's an argument to be made whether having the Mind Stone unlocks your mind's full potential, which some theorists in real world science say or theorize that can open us to maybe seeing in different dimensions, being able to levitate things with our mind. I mean, the possibilities are endless. So there's an argument to be made in that realm, but we'll get to that bridge a little bit later. How can he fly? My answer is Wanda is allowing him to fly, and let me explain. In Avengers Age of Ultron, Wanda looks into Vision and sees destruction, and that's when she turns on Ultron. Her and her brother turn on Ultron. Wanda changed sides, and the Avengers rescue or recover the cradle, and then a little bit later Thor brings him back to life. Like right before he leaps towards Thor, they cut to Wanda, and Wanda is looking at him, and she is trying to enter his mind. And they cut to Vision, and his Mind Stone is lighting up. It's fully lit. Then he leaps at Thor, and then Thor just grabs him and throws him towards the glass window. You see Vision, he expects to crash, and he does like this hand movement, which where people are associating it to, oh look, he's stopping himself. But no, he was fully expecting to crash, but he doesn't. Now, like I said a little bit earlier, when you have the Mind Stone, you can you could probably unlock the full extent of your mind and be able to stop objects, to levitate. I'm sure you would have such mastery over elements at the most basic instinctual level. So there's definitely an argument to be made for his ability to do that. When I start making the argument as far as what is Vision, it just becomes unfeasible. So I think Wanda stops him from crashing, or at minimum, and this is where my argument kind of turns, just for the possibility of the the expansion of his mind. The Mind Stone is mimicking Wanda's power. As we see now in WandaVision, she's a walking Mind Stone. She was created from it, so the power that she has is basically the Mind Stone. Given the fact that she's a telepath, on top of that is amplifying the power, and we're seeing that shown in the miniseries WandaVision on Disney Plus. So the Mind Stone can unlock unlimited power, the mind's full capabilities. And that's why I said I give that, why we see Vision do some of the things that he can do, and I leave that for a possibility. But I think Wanda was in control. And again, we see a lot of that superpower that we have now in WandaVision. And the episode 6 that aired a few days ago was just by chance that I was already working on this theory. And there's a scene in WandaVision where I want everyone to focus on, and I mentioned it in my breakdown video of episode 6. She's talking to her brother, and her brother asks her, how did she create this? And she goes into a little bit of a very revealing phrase where she goes, or phrases or dialogue, where she just expresses how lonely she was, how empty and lost she was feeling, and that's the last she remembers before the events of WandaVision that we're seeing. And at the end of episode 6, and again, spoiler alert in case you haven't seen this episode, we see just how powerful she can be. And this isn't even her fullest. She's in a protective mode right now, not even in an aggressive mode, where we see how much she can control, what she can create, how far she can manipulate and make you see what she wants. The absolute dominance that when she gets centered in what she wants to do, how she could stop a whole town on a dime. And not only that, then expand to save Vision, and being able to control all that energy when she's fully right. Obviously, if you're a fan of the show or watched the show, when her attention goes elsewhere is when her powers seem to be glitchy, or she just loses a little bit of control of whatever she's trying to control. And when she says those phrases to her brother about her loneliness, and just that how she felt is the reason why she, since the beginning, since Age of Ultron, since she lost the only thing she knew as comfort, we already knew she had lost her parents. It was just her and her brother. We obviously know the events of Age of Ultron. We see Quicksilver die. So all of a sudden, that lost from that moment until we see her. I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's get back into it. But I want everyone to remember that scene. It's important to understand it because it's giving us a full picture of Wanda since those events in Age of Ultron. In Age of Ultron, we see Ultron only partially downloading himself into Vision. When he has to stop the download of his consciousness into Vision to fight the Avengers, or Captain America, basically, right? So he doesn't fully get integrated with Vision. A little bit later, when Tony and Banner are downloading Jarvis, they don't completely do it. They only do it for a very small amount, maybe another quarter download, only partial download, before Quicksilver disconnects everything. And then we see Thor coming in and bringing Vision to life. So right before Thor did that, right, brings him back to life, we saw Vision dying. After Quicksilver disconnected everything, we saw Vision glitch. That's when Wanda enters Vision's mind. She knows they have to stop him. She's trying to get into his head, either take control or destroy Vision from that point. So Wanda seems to take control of Vision right before Banner grabs her from behind. And then obviously Thor brings him back to life. And at this moment, when he's alive, Vision is part the Mind Stone, Ultron, Jarvis, Tony, and Banner, according to Hulk in Infinity War, right? When they're thinking about taking the stone out of his head. So I'm implying Wanda, because of that moment when she took over Vision, when they were trying to reason with Tony and Banner as far as why they shouldn't bring him to life when Thor intervened. If you notice very, subtly in all movies that Vision has been in since Age of Ultron, Wanda and Vision have a similar flight to them. The way they position their hands, the way they elevate. And again, in WandaVision, I don't know if people are picking up, but it's almost like they're just throwing it out and putting it in my face and saying, oh yeah, look at the similarities in their flight, the hand gestures, the way they go about how they elevate and decelerate. Just look at Wanda. If someone's saying, oh, she doesn't fly that fast, look at the events in Endgame and how she was flying in that movie. It's very similar to what Vision has shown us throughout the movies. The reason I'm bringing up Wanda and her control, or when I think she enters Vision before he pops out of the cradle, as they call it in the movie, that explains why Vision at the end of Age of Ultron saves Wanda and rescues her and flies off to safety, because they had a connection, or Wanda was in his mind. When I saw Vision rescue her, I was like, well, how did he know? And he's that super intelligent with the Mind Stone. He knew that she was the last person to be alive on that rock. And I call shenanigans on that one. That would explain why he went to her. And then at the end, obviously, we see them joining the Avengers. They're going to go into training, basically. So 1 year elapses from that movie to when we see them again in Civil War. So we see them in Civil War, and they're still part of the Avengers. We see Wanda in Wanda's control over Vision even more in this movie. How do we see Wanda's possession of Vision even more in Civil War? We see Vision wearing clothes. My thing is, why is he wearing clothes? For who? For Falcon? For War Machine? The ones we saw at the end of Age of Ultron? It was Wanda. Wanda was playing dress up with Vision because Wanda was falling in love with Vision. Remember what we're hearing now, how lonely she was.
I only remember feeling completely alone. Empty, just endless nothingness.
We're just 1 year elapsed from her brother dying, so we're already in the events of Civil War. So she doesn't have a brother, and she is now in the Avengers facility. And what they say about coworkers and people you're around all the time. All of a sudden, you develop feelings. So what Falcon and War Machine are doing. Obviously, the movie doesn't tell us that, but it sure makes a point to show us how close Vision and Wanda have gotten. And I thought that was always weird. Even the part where Vision and they're all in the table going over the Accords, how it struck me as weird why Vision would start taking this kind of protective role over Wanda. So Wanda's still feeling alone. The only thing she ever knew, her brother is gone. Boom, she's in the Avengers facility, and the only one that the movie's telling us is Vision, and that there's this connection, this bond occurring, if you will, before them. When I saw Vision like dressed up like a runway model with the sweater and the, you know, that nerdy kind of look, but it was very chic, I was like, well, why is he wearing clothes? He's never been, you know, at least in Age of Ultron we didn't see that. And when he was in the Avengers facility at the end credits of Age of Ultron, he wasn't wearing any clothes. But why not? Why now? And I think that's one example of Wanda being in control and playing dress up with Vision. And since Wanda is a part of Vision's mind, this is when this causes Vision to stutter and fumble when we see him and Wanda flirting in the kitchen. How is Vision stumbling and fumbling, right? He's a machine, he's an android. So he shouldn't have these emotions coming through him. But it's because it's due to Wanda not being familiar with love and flirting that we see Wanda coming out of Vision in those scenes. So it's Wanda's insecurities because she's in his mind, and it's coming out of Vision, basically. I know you don't believe me, but I'm gonna keep putting down the argument. So again, I think we're seeing how she is, at least I'm trying to prove how she is in full control of Vision because of that protective need now that she has over someone to protect her, someone to be around her and make her feel safe. So earlier I said that Vision is part Mind Stone, Banner, Stark, Ultron, and Jarvis, as told by Banner in Endgame, and I say Wanda should be added also. So in that kitchen scene, Vision is cooking for Wanda, but why is he cooking her favorite dish, right? We see him cooking and it's like one of her favorite dishes, but why? Where is he learning this from? You know, Banner, Stark, Jarvis, Ultron, the Mind Stone? No, it's from Wanda. Wanda has taken control of Vision and wants that comfort, someone to be a sense of a shoulder to lean on, if you will. So here is where Banner is proven correct. So when Vision in that kitchen scene starts to ask questions about the Mind Stone and starts to open up to Wanda, Vision continues to say that he hopes to one day understand it and then control it. And the reaction you see from Wanda, where Wanda becomes afraid and kind of says, oh, you know, this doesn't taste like it, I'm gonna, you know, I think, and she leaves or tries to leave. I think, and you see it in her face.
You know, I don't know what this is. Not really. I know it's not of this world, that it powered Loki's staff, gave you your abilities, but its true nature is a mystery, and yet it is part of me.
Are you afraid of it?
I wish to understand it. The more I do, the less it controls me. One day, who knows, I may even control it.
But I think at that moment, she saw Ultron inside his mind. And that scene, he's describing this the Mind Stone to her, and again how he wants to control it in Civil War, is very familiar to what we're seeing in WandaVision when Vision starts asking questions or becoming self-aware. Is very similar to that scene. And even that scene in Civil War, listen to the music and then listen to the music in WandaVision in those moments when Vision is becoming self-aware. They're so similar in feel, and just again how when Vision asks these questions and the fear that Wanda gets. I feel this is where we see Ultron in there. And later in Civil War, Hawkeye breaks Wanda out of the Avengers facility, and Vision and Hawkeye have like an altercation. It's not really a fight. They're friends. They're just going over their disagreement, really. They're going over like their altercation where Wanda controls the Mind Stone outright and makes Vision phase to allow Hawkeye to escape. She easily defeats Vision, who has the Mind Stone, the very thing that Wanda was created. How was she able to defeat him so easily if he has the actual source of the power of the Mind Stone, the thing that she was created from? And the only answer is because Wanda was in full-fledged control of Vision and in that Mind Stone and in his mind. That's the only explanation as to why she was able to just throw him. How many floors or how far underneath the earth did she throw him and he didn't pop just right up, continue fighting, is because Wanda was in full control of that scenario, of that fight. We see right here that Wanda is making Vision phase, and in the show, remember in WandaVision, this is after the snap, after Thanos, the events of Endgames. There's no Mind Stone anywhere on any planet or any part of the universe. So for all intensive purposes, or for all kind of purposes, the Mind Stone, let's just consider it gone, right? So it doesn't exist. But in the first episode, in the first opening sequence where Wanda, or Vision, picks up Wanda, Vision kind of phases through the door, but she falls down because she can't phase, right? So he comes back out, he picks her up, and they go through the door, and they have this little couch right there also. So the phasing problem comes into question again, but something's different. Wanda actually phases herself to be able to phase through the couch, proving again that Wanda, not Vision, is responsible for the phasing we see Vision do. Not nanotechnology, not any of this stuff. It's all Wanda, and it's proven in episode 1 of WandaVision when she phases in that couch, and she phases through that couch like similar like a ghost. We're gonna fast forward now to the epic fight in Civil War at the airport. We see War Machine, and he's doing his like sonic blast on Wanda. And then after that little scrummage, whatever, Vision goes towards Wanda to, after the fight, to make sure Wanda was okay and not hurt by War Machine. Around this moment, War Machine calls on Vision to help get Falcon off of him because he's trying to follow Captain America, but Falcon was following War Machine, and he was asking for help. So then we see Vision fire his beam from the Mind Stone, and he misses, or Falcon ducks, as some would argue, and it hits War Machine, which leads to him falling and ultimately being paralyzed from the waist down. Or the next scene after we see that happened, we see Vision at the hospital checking on Rhodey, and he's looking through the window as Rhodey's going in to get his CAT scan and x-rays and such. And Tony flat out asked Vision,
How did this happen? I became distracted. I didn't think that was possible. Neither did I.
how could this happen? Where Vision said he was distracted. And Tony says, I didn't know that was possible. Vision says, neither did he. So was Vision distracted by love? Or, because that's what we assume it. If you take, I know a lot of people don't talk about that. It's like a throwaway line, but it's such an important, so they're implying, if you look into that he did it, he was distracted because of his love, or he falling in love of Wanda. Or, right, she was just fighting War Machine right before that all happened, before he shoots this beam. So what I'm saying, it wasn't love that made him miss. I'm saying he hit his target due to Wanda's control over his mind, and she took over his mind and wanted to hit War Machine. Because right before that, look at Wanda's face in that shot. Right before he fires that beam, it looks like Wanda took control before she took that shot, which was meant for Falcon So look at this shot and tell me, you know, pause it right before and look at her grin in her face and tell me with a straight face that she is not in full control of Vision. And she directed that shot to hit War Machine that was causing her pain with that that sonic blast, or the sound machine that was, hurting her ears or whatnot, was keeping her disorientated. In Infinity War, we see Wanda and Vision are in a getaway, and we see Vision in now a human form. Again, remember, he's made of vibranium and synthetic skin. He wouldn't be able to turn from android to human. Wanda is doing that. That's why you see the little magic sparkles coming from that form. That's why when we see him in Infinity War, that's Wanda's despair, her loneliness, and just the pain that she's in, and the power that she's able to wield to make everyone see anything and to create even some of the most powerful objects in the world. Vision being made of vibranium and synthetic skin, Vision has never been able to fly or phase.
It's Wanda. It's all Wanda.
So let me know what you guys think. Just a theory that I'm putting out, something that will explain the events from Age of Ultron to what we're seeing in WandaVision, and why Wanda has fully been in control of Vision's mind. So let me know what you think. Is it plausible? Do you think I'm just crazy? Is this just another conspiracy theory? Illuminati confirmed, So let me know down in the comments. And like always, that's a wrap.